Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. I hope everyone's having a good day. And congratulations to you, Bray Herd, who have claimed the crown of Furstendom, the square and blocky crown that I guess probably isn't that heavy, given that Minecraft physics are weird. You know, things just kind of float. But anyway, we're gonna be diving into some more Minecraft today. We're gonna finish off the marketplace. We have 2 stalls left. They should be pretty quick, and then we're gonna keep working on the opera house. So let's go ahead. Let's dive on it. Heavy is the head on which the crown sits. Exactly. It's kind of there. Just gotta line yourself up with it. So I hopped in early so I could try and get some more of this growing, because where we are on the other side, we actually don't grow that much. We're out of the range where the game will spawn it, so... So the 2 shops left are the bookstore and the potion shop. So the potion shop, I think we can probably just fake it with these water bottles. And I have a brewing stand. So we'll take that with us. Now this cauldron. Do I have other paper just lying around? Or sugar cane? Not really. Maybe over at the other base. Really need to organize my inventory someday. I know we have some leather. And for the bookstore, we could have, Oh, we're gonna sleep first. We can have, empty bookshelves as well. Chiseled bookshelves, as they're called. So that'll help fill in the space. Midweek Minecraft! What up, Mel? Indeed, I am a relic haver. Technically, this is the 3rd relic I own. Well, don't own. You don't own relics. You are really more the guardian of, but yeah, so I mentioned this in another chat. I was given a relic today, a first-class relic. This is a bone fragment of a Masabki brother. I had to find out who the Masabki brothers were, if I'm entirely honest. But a beautiful story. They were a Maronite family in Lebanon in the 19th century, and 3 of the 4 sons were all martyred. they were all asked to renounce their faith. And they didn't. They stood fast. And by their blood, they witnessed to God's love. I didn't know Raphael was your patron. Yeah, so one was, well, it would be the Arabic or Aramaic equivalent of Francis. One was the Aramaic equivalent of Raphael. And the third is just straight up a very Arabic, I'm not sure which, name. It was like, okay, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that until I learn from someone who knows well. Awkward. There's one piece of that. We go to the experts. We absolutely do. I am more than willing and comfortable to say that I am not an expert in that, do not know, and do not want to pretend to know. There's enough false information in the world, I don't need to go making more of it. How many books can I make? I can make 6 books. That's enough for 2 bookshelves. That's not a lot. What kind of wood is the, I want to say they're both oak, but I could be wrong. In fact, you're charged with capital T truth. Capital T. I'm surprised there's not a tea brand out there who uses the tagline capital T. I'm just saying, I think it's a missed opportunity. I think we'll have the potion shop just kind of be a simple stand. Might put a picture frame here if I have any spares. Need to go get some water. Okay, good. That is, so it is oak at the bookstore. Bookstore is probably going to be similar to this, just because like you want people to be able to walk in and browse the bookshelves. I need investors for Capital T clothing brand. This is a Capital T shirt. I'll just have a big old T on them. They would want an axe. So I need to redo some of the... Ah, there we go. Picture frame. Perfect. Do I make a chiseled bookshelf? Oh, okay, I need slabs. That's doable. I have slabs. Do I have the right kind of slabs? I have a feeling they need to match. No, they don't. What if the capital T clothing and T brand can only be sold at capitals? It's like Washington, D.C., Sacramento. You'd have to move to Austin. That is a problem, just given the cost of living there. Oh, if you break a chiseled bookshelf, it just goes poof. Today I learned. I know if you break a bookshelf, it just becomes books. They no longer have the highest average rent in Texas. It's DFW now. That's terrifying. Doesn't mean that Austin got cheap. Put those oak slabs or oak planks aside. Don't want to accidentally use them to make chiseled bookshelves here. That'll be way more than enough. They did mention falling rent in the article I read. Okay, so maybe it is a little cheaper. A little. Maybe San Antonio will get better. I would hope. I've only ever spent a single day in San Antone. I'd like to spend more. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house with a hole in the bathroom floor. Oh, you know, the bad side of town. $14.50 a month in rent. Huh. So there's a hole in the floor, but you'll be renting, so you wouldn't be able to fix the hole in the floor. $14.50, you say? I'm no expert on these things, and I have not rented in a long time. But that seems a little wrong to me. Looking for something closer to your mom? Ah. That makes sense. Do these trees grow organically? Define organically. Like, did they grow from just normal saplings? Yes. Were the saplings native to there? Next question. You didn't shave the leaves? No, I did not. That's just what spruce trees look like in Minecraft. So I made those trapdoors because what I'm thinking is on the back side, the shelves will be exposed. Like this. And so I'd like to have that covered up. And I like how spruce trapdoors look. Oh, that's the wrong spot. Or wrong way for chiseled bookshelf. Yeah, so I'm gonna need a lot more of the sugarcane in order to complete this. So I think doing it 3 high is probably enough. So then we can put a slab roof over it. Trapdoors are surprisingly handy to decorate with in Minecraft. They can be armrests on chairs. They can be wall paneling. They can be all sorts of things. Put all that in there for later. Put the axe away. Okay. Oh, slabs. I need to make slabs. That was it. Maybe I have oak slabs somewhere. If I didn't already turn them all into the bookshelves. I already turned them all into the bookshelves. There we go. We have the book hut. Mostly. It'll get there. That was more a matter of time. Who got first say? Brayherd. Damn it. Tomorrow, I believe in you. Set an alarm, 1:50, your time. That's what I'm looking for. Before we hit the fur balls, yes. Granite. Well, for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just roughly lay out the footprint of what we want before the Opera House's cistern. If there are cisterns, are there brothers? Cistern? Mm-hmm. Okay, so our thing is kind of a 5x5 grid. For water? Also a bad joke, yes. It was a terrible joke. In fact, it deserved one of these. But anyway, yeah, cistern for water. So this is easily one corner. We're going to have to probably take out some of that. Nope, I screwed up. So I want this more or less to be the base of what the actual Opera House is going to be in size. So it's going to be square. It's going to be one big square. Just a question of how big of a square. I'm thinking maybe out to this outcropping here would be good. And then we'll probably even build like just a small buffer of wall around this of like cobblestone or something. Just encapsulate it. The Opera House needs water? Or are these two separate projects? No, they're the same. They're the same project. Well, it's two things. One, you know, yeah, the Opera House needs water. How else do you expect all the plumbing to work? And two, where else are we going to put our Phantom if we don't have an underground light? Might bring a bed out this way. So I don't have to travel back and forth. But yeah, the idea will be that we're kind of building the opera house on top of a lake. And yes, it's a normal lake right now, but we're going to turn it into an underground lake. We're going to fill in the ground around it. Rainbow. There we go. That'll give us a nice canvas to work with in terms of width. So now how big is this? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Hey, that's a nice divisible by 5 number. I wanted to say it's not really a round number. It's not certainly not even. And this is where this gets tricky. So I'm gonna have to like level out this entire corner. But for now, I'm just gonna keep laying where these are going. How many up? Am I up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 5 more. 11. 12. 13. 14. And 1, 2, 3. 15. So now, theoretically, I should be... I'm going to do this in creative mode. Just so that I can fly, but also have the cursor. So now, okay, so on the very edge of this, it appears to line up roughly around here. We can, as we build out, we'll be able to zero that in, but for right now, that will work. I kind of like that the lake will have this random depth to it. Oh, sup, pillagers? Please leave me alone. Hey, Bren. How you doing? Ha! Nailed it. Gonna miss this quiet office days with all the leadership out at offsite meetings. That is a mood. Oh, the bosses are away. Darn. Wait a minute, I am the boss. Actually, I'm not the boss. I'm the associate boss. Yeah, there's the nailed it. That's a great emote you have. The music is as loud as I want. It's a vibe. Yeah. How goes things here? It's going well. We're laying out the foundation for the cistern that's going to be in the basement of the opera house, which is a mouthful. It'll all make more sense once it's more complete, I think. But right now, we're just kind of like laying out where every pillar's going to be and how much of this hill I'm going to have to decimate. Which, as it turns out, is a lot. Because what we're going to do, ultimately, my patience is praiseworthy. Well, it has to go somewhere, I guess. I kid. So we're going to be building this kind of archway structure as a grid all across here. And then we're going to build up dirt to cover it all up so it becomes an underground lake. And then we're going to build an opera house on top of it. I like my mega builds. I mean, I built this in, this is in survival over here. That was not creative. I like Minecraft. Dear Squid, you are kind of in the way of everything. I just don't feel like terraforming this hill right now, today. That'll probably be a next week thing. Also give me a chance to repair my shovel. But if I can mark off where pieces are gonna go, that'll make it a little easier. Because then I can just leave them as is. Just make it a non-zero day and you're winning. There you go. A Windrar is me. I'm gonna have to pave over that dark spooky hole. That's another day problem. But I'll have a lot of dirt because of the hill. What's that new game you're playing now that you finished? Spiritfarer? It's called Season, A Letter to the Future is what we're playing on Spirituality Tuesdays. Yes, I've got more than a jar of dirt. I've got a whole treasure chest of it. Gonna take that bed with me. Gonna use up what granite I do have, and then we're gonna head over to the other base to see what we have in stock, and if not, gotta go dig some more. You mean I have to do the mining portion of Minecraft? This is the worst. Me? Labor? Have you seen me? What's wrong with this photo? I'm in it and I don't like it. Use that so often. Nice. Don't know how I'm gonna do this efficiently when actually building, but there's like a half step on top of a half step to help give it more of an arch shape, and then we'll have that, and then the floor of the opera house will be that next level. Take the quick way. You know, if this was organized, I could just go and be like, oh, I have this many stacks of this. Good job, me. Shooting me in the foot. Well, I guess it's digging time. Fortunately, granite's a very abundant resource. Me? Organized? Have you seen me? Here we see the wild friend embracing its natural chaos. I mean, personally, I'm actually a very organized dude. I just haven't gotten around to doing it in this save of Minecraft. At another one, at another save where it was all neat and tidy and put into boxes with labels. You could quickly grab and remove stuff. So nice. Guy you're talking to asked if I consider myself organized or messy. I had to think about a polite way to say I'm definitely not organized without scaring him off. Hey, Casey. You could just segue and be like, have you seen the movie Twisters? Yeah, just give vague hints like that. No, I've only seen the movie Twister. Well, that's what I meant. You ruined the joke, Gale. Also good to see you, Gale. You haven't seen the sequel. Fair enough. The sequel came out last year. I thought that was a remake. Because, like, I thought the Twister series was like Tremors, where there's just like a whole bunch of them. And so I thought that one was like a reboot of the series. I could be wrong. I'd never seen any of them. Messed up on chopped Andean. Gave a lot of seed beads to your aunt who can. Okay. Don't make purchases on sleeping pills. That is good advice. I had a friend in college who once went sleep shopping. Like, not sleepwalking, sleep shopping. Like, he went and he bought some paints. And they showed up one day and he's like, who ordered these for me? And he looked at his credit card statement. Oh, it was me. When did I do this? I've heard that that kind of stuff with the right pill, you can have your own Secret Santa. That sounds fun until you remember that you're also spending your own money. How do I get out of here? Oh, there I go. Okay. That should be enough for now. Probably not enough to quite finish this project, but looks like I'm getting kicked out early. Good thing I got that work done. I like leaving early. Unless I have things to do. That's fair. Yes, meow to you too, Orange. Yes, that's our beautiful son, Orange, who is an incredibly orange cat. You usually find him with his head in a pumpkin. I brought him indoors for his safety. I adore all cats, to be honest. Oranges and calicos are great, but, you know, just a fan of cats. Apparently I never made pink dye on this save. And 1, 2, 3, great. Citizen to make dream catchers as a hobby. The thought just crossed my mind. Don't actually believe in them, but love to create them and give them away. I think intention goes a long way in that sort of thing. I mean, if you're just making it as a piece of art, like, you know, it's art. You know, depends on who you give it to, I guess, but... Hey, Mesozoic good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. So you have a book coming out? Also, apparently last time you were on the radio show, you shocked Father Dave by mentioning that you watched my streams. He's like, what? He didn't think the two worlds could ever overlap. People watch your streams? I know, it's the weirdest thing. People like you! How you doing, Matt? Do you mind if I drop the pre-order link in chat? You cannot because of how my chatbot works. It will automatically block the link. Why don't you send it to me on Discord or something and I can post it. Doing pretty good trying to rewrite your personal statement for an EdD program. Yeah, send it to Step Zero on Discord and he'll post it. He has the magical mod powers to do that. Yeah, no, I'd love for that link, but yeah, I know there are just too many bots on Twitch that will post links, and I just don't want to deal with that. So, I'm doing pretty good map hack. Had a busy morning. I was emceeing a funeral for one of my Paul's brothers. It was definitely one of those where it's like, it's very sad to lose a brother, but also he had such a beautiful life in priesthood that it is a great witness to us all. So it's an honor to be there. And he left me something very unexpected. He left me a first-class relic of one of the Misabki brothers. If you don't know who the Misabki brothers are, that's okay. They have been official canonized saints for 3 months. They were Lebanese martyrs in the 19th century. But yeah, if you look them up, they have a really beautiful story. It's spelled Massabki. Misabki. There's Step Zero with the Wikipedia link. Lightning fast. Relics are cool. I can't whisper to you until you ping me in a conversation. You give me a pre-order link. Whisper. Mezok, mind you could just drop it in the general chat on the Let Us Play Discord as well. Like, it would also just be cool to have the link there for folks to see later, and then Step Zero can grab it from there. Gonna start wrapping up. Have a beautiful day. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Brian. You too. Posted the general Discord chat now. There you go. And then Step Zero can grab that link. Technology. We have the power. Look at all my beautiful pillars coming to be. Done. All right. Now this is the children's book, right? It's children's nonfiction. Biography of Blessed Nicholas Steno, a priest and geologist. This sounds like a book for me, even though I'm not a kid. I love geology. Unironically, some of my favorite classes in college were my geology classes. Lived in the 1600s. Nice. He was a titular bishop. Was he? Wrote the book I would have wanted as a kid. That sounds about... I mean this in a very loving way. That sounds exactly right, and I'm here for it. Niels Stenson. I suppose that does sound more... I don't know, they both sound pretty Dutch. Court scientist, Medicis of Florence. You learned about him in freshman geology. Hey, that's neat. He was the first person to codify a new layer of rock on top of older layers of rock concept. It's wild, because on the one hand, that seems like such an obvious thing, but on the other, it's like, you know what? Actually, no, someone had to figure that out and argue why. Have you ever watched Frieren? No, I don't watch anime. You know, it's kind of funny because I don't have anything against anime objectively, but like a lot of times I don't like the way anime stories unfold. Like the storytelling, I guess, is just not my cup of tea. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not my thing. And honestly, for as much as I play things like Kingdom Hearts, sometimes I don't like the art style. Steno is also the first to make a convincing case that fossils are exactly what they appear to be, petrified remains of a living organism. Nice. Man, Aristotle was so close to making that argument once. Like, there were some fossilized seashells up on a hill, and he's in one of his books, he's like, well, we could posit that there used to be a lake here or something, and that's how those are there. They're just really old and something. But that could never be. So they're just really coincidental looking rocks. I feel like the I don't like anime critique suffers from the same critique that I could offer to animations for children. Or it's not about the art style or whatever, it's about the story being told. Yeah, no, that's fair. Where was the image of the Blessed Virgin Mary found not painted, but literally was part of a mountain? I've never heard that story. I know the story of the Mendelian, the icon not painted by human hands. The vast majority of anime is targeted at 8 to 16-year-olds. It's fair. Are you saying my shonen isn't targeted towards critical thinking, adulthood? No, that was the wrong spot. And there are animes I've enjoyed, too. It's just, you know, it's just not something I seek out. But then again, I don't really watch a whole lot of television in general. Most of the stuff I watch is content creator stuff. Just gonna keep a stopwatch in time. Entering stream to Puss in Boots last Switch in. I think it's the first time you've actually got off on that tangent here. Anytime I see the name Inuyasha, there's a short of it's like an anime club meeting, and they're talking about proper pronunciation, and they're intentionally mispronouncing everything. And so every time I see Inuyasha, I just think of the way they pronounce it, which is Inuyaya. I tried to save the weird for Peter's stream. This is a podcast more than I watch TV or streaming shows. That's, yeah. No, we're out of granite. Well, we covered about half. I don't think that one was on the list. It was like Inuyasha was Inuyaya. One Piece was like Onapicha. It was very ridiculous. My face when I run out of dirt. Dirt all around me, but it's the wrong color dirt. I mean, if I'm honest, I probably listen to more music than watch TV. And that's okay because there's lots of different media and lots of different hobbies. It's okay to not have the same ones. Neon and Genesis pronounced correctly, but Avon incorrectly, but Avon Kelly correctly. Yes. Woo. No, you have to like the same things I like. There, Map Hack. You are valid, and someone liking something else does not invalidate you. If I'm looking at a screen, it's usually a computer or phone. I mean, there's some people who've watched the entirety of Dune 1 and 2 on their phones. Not everyone likes the same thing. Some people are wrong. Well, that's of you to take, Brayherd. I don't have opinions. I have facts. That is the most Gale-coded thing I've read all day. I have Dune 1 and 2, so I've yet to watch them. I enjoyed Dune 1. I haven't watched 2. But I watched it the correct way. On the back of an airplane seat. Let me tell you, watching that, I went, I could see how this would be a lot better in IMAX. You watched it correctly one page at a time on paper. I've never read it. You collect comics. Hey, that's cool. You got a Doctor Strange one today. Nice. I feel like maybe post-root canal is either the wrong way to watch a Dune movie or the incredibly right way. I'm not sure. I'm not going to comment further. Correct. Watch on your PSP. You got to buy a VMU of Dune in the year of our Lord 2025. Allowed to be a priest if you ever read UMD. Okay, whatever. Balatro brain rot. I initially autocompleted this is convert the left into the right. Bruh. I'm glad I unlocked everything in Balatro and got free of the brain rot. It's a good game, but dang, is it addicting. I think Father Evan took the sleeping pill. Pill Chat was talking about earlier and read this in his sleep. Probably. Actually, I think I found the best way to play Balatro, and that's with an arcade stick. You beat the Slay the Spire Ascension 20? Sick. I think I was there in... I think it was a Game of Favorites chat when you popped in and were like, I did it! So I did see that, but that is still awesome. Congrats. Just 3 more characters to go. Yeah. And you have time. The sequel's not out yet. Roughly 18 ascensions. Honestly, between 3 characters, that's not bad. Even went with the poison build. I believe it. There are other builds. What's going on here? Hey, Chizo. Good to see you. We are laying the foundation of the cistern that will be in the basement of the Opera House. Will there be a phantom in this opera house? I hope so, but as the stream title suggests, I'm worried that it's going to cost extra. Maybe I'm going to be the phantom. What if I name my opera house the Paradise? But yeah, we are inspiring the use of a cistern and an underground lake. And I know this lake's not currently underground. We will fix that on the Paris Opera House, but the exterior of the Opera House itself will be based on the old New York Opera House. Didn't even realize until yesterday that Stoic from How to Train Your Dragon is also the Phantom of the Opera. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so I don't know who that is. Oh, do you mean like the actor? Because in that case, I still don't know who that is. Hiccup's dad is Gerard Butler. Wow, that's right. The movie Phantom was Gerard Butler. I forgot that fact. I mostly forget the movie. The movie's really not that good, except in one very specific way, in which case it's actually better than basically any other production. And that is that they change when the chandelier falls, and it makes way more sense. If you want more interesting Phantom lore, I recommend the novel Phantom by, I think it's Susan Kay is her name. It's basically a prequel, but it is based on some of the writings of the original author. Also, if you want a really weird Phantom of the Opera experience, watch the silent movie. High School Production, Guys and Dolls, Got Bill, Bye Bye Birdie. There you go. Those are all classics. I am a fan of live theater, which works well considering where I live. But I grew up going to not a lot, but a decent amount of live shows. Pratchett also did a send-up for the Phantom as one of the many interwoven plot threads in The Masquerade. Discworld novel 18. Okay. That one. I thought I went up one too high. Oh no, I'm off. I'm off. Ah, panic. Burp. Make sure Miss Gouda is fed before class this evening. That makes sense. Sounds good and important. Yeah, honestly, I'm not surprised that Pratchett did a send-up of the Phantom. Seems right up his alley. Okay, there we go. We have the base pillars done. So, how much? Okay, I have a decent amount of granite left. So next, I think I'm just going to build up, not the full pillar, but enough to where we can start putting in the arches. It's one, two, three. Time to cut down an entire forest to build this floor. Yeah. Well, cut down that. I'm thinking aspen for the flooring. What have trees ever done for me? Like, you specifically, Map Pack? Shall I have them write you a letter? eaten an apple. In fact, I ate an apple today with lunch, as I do most days. I do not want those pesky doctors coming around. Gonna sign off. Hey, you take care, Mesozoic Mind. Good to see ya. Hope you have a good night. Next time we will tear down this hill. We will level it. Neat slips fall 7 damage. Why do you have to phrase it like that? You're not wrong, but I hate it. Gorbachev, tear down this hill. If I can time placing a brick, I don't take fall damage. Of course, that requires me also landing on the platform. Do we have some vision of the Opera House will look like? Or are we copying a extant one? Previously extant one. The New York Opera House. Which, I guess I can show it. I showed it at another time. No, that's the new one. That's at the Met. That's not what we're going for. We're going more for... This is a good picture of it. The Metropolitan Opera House. So kind of these layers. And what this one kind of gives a sense of color, so kind of off-white with gold highlighting. But yeah, kind of doing the layers of windows and then the inside, you know, Grand Opera Hall. Oh, my desktop is so messy. I'm sorry you had to see that. What's the difference between the Metropolitan Opera House and Archbishop Opera House? Oh, that's funny. Well played, Brayherd. Well played. Isn't the old New York Opera House the one the Phantom sequel play? I don't. Is that Starlight? No, that's not Starlight Express. I don't know. I've never seen or listened to the sequel because I hear it's bad. There we go. We have one square section. Actually, not even quite yet, but... I'm probably going to build this kind of like the flat section and then go around, add these, and then add this section. It's probably the order of operations to do that. But this gives us an idea that each section will kind of take on... And it's a 15 by 15 grid of pillars. So I guess it's 14 by 14 channels. Okay, well, we're gonna need more. Rotata. Good to see you, Kit. Hope you're doing well. Today's gospel, Parable of the Sower from Mark. Interestingly enough, that was the gospel chosen for the funeral mass today. But I think it and tomorrow's gospel as well, so you might get a repeat. Hey, Beer Fox, good to see you. There's a level of simplicity or obviousness with the gospel sometimes that, you know, Jesus is saying, anyone who has ears ought to listen. Sometimes we don't have to overthink the parable or the image. Sometimes we can look at it and go, oh, I get it. You know, and that's a good thing. So the parable of the sower, we understand and see what is the good ground upon which the seed of the gospel falls. I thought the parable of the sower was... Who would have thought you'd be using a ton of granite? I know. Oh. Hashtag just me establishing a palette for a 15, well, what is it? It's roughly a 75 by 75 square area. I don't want to math, though. But you're an engineer. Aren't you supposed to math? Or are you the... I suppose a lot of engineers also just let the computers math for them. And no judgment there. That's an entirely valid thing to do. Sometimes? I mean, I guess the most important number to your employer is number go up. No. I need to go the other way. That's the efficient way to do it, is just go around each pillar. Time to leave work. Yeah, you take care, Map Pack. Placed like that. See, 15 times 15. About what, 175 or something? 15 squared? So 170 times 4. I should have been using a stone cutter for this. I forget stone cutters are a thing in Minecraft, just because I'm so set in my old ways. I'm like, a crafting bench is how you make everything. No, there are many tools and ways to make things now in Minecraft. And more efficient ones. Oh well. Okay, 175 times 4. Just gonna round up to 200. Call that 800. So that's about how much granite we're gonna need. Assuming I do it correctly next time and use a stone cutter, which makes 1 to 1, whereas using stairs it's 6 to 4. 900. Yeah, I gotta use this stone cutter. Gotta remember the stone cutter's a thing. I have one. It's hanging out in the bell tower of the church. Six to 4 versus 1 to 1. Exactly, yeah. And that, you know, across 900, that's pretty big. Minus a few for edges and corners, yes. If I'm out already. And that is just for the stairs. That does not include the slabs. And then the upper portion of the support. Yeah, mining 1,200 versus mining 900. Yep. Well, I mined enough sand to make the basilica and sandstone, and I did not use a stone cutter for most of that because I forgot. Needless to say, we'll be putting the mine back into Minecraft. But it's coming together already. The children yearn for the mines. They do. Otherwise, Minecraft probably wouldn't be selling so well. But I like how this is coming together. This looks pretty cool. Do I have a favorite opera? Ooh. As a general opera, I will go with Turandot. Beautiful arias, great costumes, great sense of humor in it. Like the three priests of the court are really funny. From a set perspective, Aida. When a group does Aida well, oh, the sets are insane. Magic Flute. Mozart's Fever Dream. That's also a good one. Gonna take a couple of chests over there. At some point, I really do need to clean things up so that I don't just leave. Like, there's... In this tower, there's still the boxes from the construction. From the house, there's the boxes for its construction. The marketplace does not have that, fortunately, because I was able to just use the houses, but... Like, I want to do it off stream, but then I get busy with life and don't always have time. So, we might just have to do it on stream one day. Barber of Seville. You have an avowed weakness for good comedy. Barber of Seville is coming up in March at the Met. I really want to go. I need to look into getting a ticket. I am a sucker for any Puccini, though. I do enjoy his operas. Leave that there for now. Meow to you too, Orange. A fine meow to you too. Here while I make soup. Hey, Webby, what kind of soup you making? Can I have some of the soup? It's good soup weather. It's cold. Honestly, not sure yet. Just putting things in the crock pot. Ah, you're making soup. TM. You had gumbo? Nice. You don't even know if this soup has ever existed before. It may not have in that particular form. Stand back. Webby is getting close to the platonic ideal of soup. This is, and I'm at, if I can talk, I'm nearing the end of groceries. is the, please make this last longer soup. You know, my dad always used to take all the leftovers and throw them in a pot. You know, that happens here. Usually, 2 days after a meal, day after a meal, we'll have the leftovers at lunch along as with something new and fresh. And then the soup is usually what's made up of the leftovers from 2 days ago that are still there. Your mom always hated it. Well, I can't change that. Your wife isn't home yet. We'll find out what she thinks. But that's a future Webby problem. Oh, there you go. I could go for some soup. Man, there's this Greek place just around the corner from me that, first of all, I just love in general. It's really good Greek food. But they have this lemon or chicken orzo soup. It's so good. It's like chicken noodle soup, but cranked up to 11. It's so good. You found that canned. Ooh. I don't know if it'll be as good as the Greek kitchens, though. Apparently, at the start of the pandemic, my coworker asked if she could buy like just 5 quarts of it to put in her freezer because she's like, I can't go without this. Almost forgot to plug in the pot. That would be bad. What happens if you empty the whole center of the world? So there is a layer at one point called bedrock that you physically cannot get through. No tool is strong enough. You can glitch it out, but it doesn't quite count. So I think it's pretty deep. Ooh. There's a slime there. That's good to know. That slime spawned there. You can get some slime jelly later. Wish I could eat what I used to while I was growing up, but food isn't even really food anymore. Yeah. Yeah, so you see these, like, these pieces here? I could sit here all day holding this down, and I will never break through this. So you cannot go sort of beyond. If I go into spectator mode, I can go down, and there's just the void. Slime jelly, perfect for biscuits. Is it? I prefer honey butter on my biscuits, actually. I remember once I did that, I made honey butter in seminary, and a couple of guys were like, what's that? It's like, have you never heard of honey butter? It's not that complicated. Just smoked 2 whole chickens. Hey, that's awesome. I nearly had a drinking problem. Throw some pit. Yeah, you can get through it. You just shouldn't. There is no natural way that the game gives you. There are glitched ways that you can finagle. Like, you can glitch it out in the nether with beds, but, like, I don't count that. No room for chickens. Put chickens on your roof. Father Evan does not actually endorse putting chickens on the roof of your apartment building. Hermitcraft, they made a hole into the abyss. That sounds like Hermitcraft. Boatum hole. Yeah, Norental definitely can't do that. Oh, wait. Before we go there, I'm going to grab the crafting bench and bring it over. And the stone cutter. I'm going to bring the stone cutter so I remember to use it. We're learning, folks. We're learning. What? Oh, no. Oh no, I know where the stone cutter is. It's in the marketplace. Get an education? You can't educate me. Okay, so 3 pieces of stone. And 1 iron ingot. Yes, I know this is inefficient coal use, but never mind. I apparently only have that much charcoal left. There. Next to it. See, now we can just make 1 stair per grand. Oh, that's polished. We don't even want polished, but we can make regular. 64. So much more efficient. Do I play modded? Not really. I'm really lazy when it comes to mods. I'm like, oh, that looks like fun. Oh, I have to install it? That sounds like effort. I've tried a few. Like, I did some of the Island in the Sky ones on my own in the past. I've enjoyed it. It's just like I said, I'm just too lazy. But yeah, that's where we're going to call it for today. I like that we get a little bit of the angled view going. I feel like we made good progress. We got we finished off the marketplace, except for actually making the bookshelves. Just gonna need to wait, because that's just gonna take more sugar cane. We laid out the basic foundation of all of these. And we've marked out where on the hillside we have to take it out. And we've started in on building some of them and got more materials for next time. Play enough to build a chest monster too. Nice. But yeah, so that's what we're going to call it. So thanks so much to everyone for tuning in for another episode of Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today to continue these Minecraft adventures. Look forward to next week as we continue to build. Join us again tomorrow for more Wing Commander. It's probably going to be the last Wing Commander episode for now, because I think in February I'm going to shift to a different game for Retro Tuesday. Throwback Thursday. It's been a while since we've had Retro Tuesday. But anyway, Monday, more Kingdom Hearts 2. Tuesday, more Season Letter to the Future. So hopefully finishing up the Valley, and then midweek Minecraft on Wednesday. No special streams happening right now, but when we get to 400, hoping to do one. So keep an eye out for that, and spread the word, tell your friends. But I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And why don't we see who's live that we can raid into? Gonna send you on over to Yuha. You hate to see it. He's a cool dude. Know him through the Goth community. He's playing Tales of Grace, part of the Tales of series. Raid call will be, I think just standard Father Raid. This is the first time we've raided him this calendar year. So go give him some love. Spam the meat morph if you got it. Drop that in chat if you want to copy paste it. So go give him some love, and hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care and God bless.